Legal dictation on criminal matter and suit matter. Ready, start. Before the High Court, the stand was that even if the extrajudicial confession is accepted to be correct for the sake of argument case, Section 302 IPC is not made out. Stop. The stand of the prosecution was that the extrajudicial confession clearly showed both the intention and the knowledge. Stop. Accordingly, the High Court dismissed the appeal. Stop. The stand taken before the High Court was reiterated by the parties. Full stop. In addition, learned counsel for the appellant submitted that there was no premeditation, and in the course of quarrel a wooden log which was laying was picked up by the appellant in a need of passion and assault was made. Stop. Only one blow was given, and therefore Section 302 IPC in any event has no application. Stop. It was submitted that extrajudicial confession is a very weak piece of evidence and should not have been made the basis for conviction. Paragraph. We shall first deal with the question regarding claim of extrajudicial confession. Full stop. Though it is not necessary that the witnesses should speak the exact words, but there cannot be vital and material difference. Stop. While dealing with a stand of extrajudicial confession, court has to satisfy itself that the same was voluntary and without any coercion and undue influence. Stop. Extrajudicial confession can form the basis of conviction if persons before whom it is stated to be made appear to the unbiased and not even remotely inimical to the accused. Stop. Where there is material to show animosity, court has processed continuously and find out whether confession, just like any other evidence, depends on veracity of witness to whom it is made. Stop. It is not invariable that the court should not accept such evidence if actual words as claimed to have been spoken are not reproduced and the substance is given. Stop. It will depend on circumstance of the case. Stop. If substance itself is sufficient to prove culpability and there is no ambiguity about import of the statement made by accused, evidence can be acted upon even though substance and not actual words have been stated. Stop. The witness should be able to say as nearly as possible actual words spoken by the accused. Stop. That would rule out possibility of erroneous interpretation of any ambiguous statement. Stop. If word by word repetition of statement of the case is insisted upon more often than not, evidentiary value of extrajudicial confession has to be thrown out as unreliable and not useful. Stop. That cannot be a requirement in law. There can be some persons who have a good memory and may be able to repost exact words, and there may be many who are possessed of normal memory and do so. Stop. It is for the court to judge credibility of the witness's capacity and thereafter to decide whether his or her evidence has to be accepted or not. If court believes witnesses before whom confession is made and is satisfied that confession was voluntarily basing on such evidence, conviction can be founded stop. Such confession should be clear, specific and unambiguous stop. Para. On comparing the above mentioned provisions, it is clear that Article 17 of Schedule 2 of the Court Fees Act is applicable in cases where the plaintiff seeks to obtain a declaratory decree without any consequential relief, and there is no other provision under the Act or payment of fee relating to relief claimed. Stop. Article 17 of Schedule 2 of the Court Fees Act makes it clear that this article is applicable in cases where the plaintiff seeks to obtain a declaratory decree without consequential reliefs, and there is no other provision under the Act for payment of fee relating to relief claimed. Stop. If there is no other provision under the Court Fees Act in case of a suit involving cancellation or adjudging, declaring void or voidable a will or sale deed on the question of payment of court fees, then Article 17 of Schedule 2 shall be applicable. Stop. But if such relief is covered by any other provision of the Court Fees Act, then Article 17 of Schedule 2 will not be applicable. Stop. On a comparison between the Court Fees Act and the UP Amendment Act, it is clear that Section 7 of the UP Amendment Act covers suits for or involving cancellation or adjudging declaring null and void decree for money or an instrument securing money or other property having such value. Stop. Para. The suit in these cases was filed after the death of the testator, and therefore the suit property covered by the will has also to be valued. Stop. Since Section 7 of the UP Amendment Act specifically provides that payment of court fee in case where the suit is for involving cancellation or adjudging declaring null and void decree for money or an instrument, Article 17 of Schedule 2 of the Court Fees Act would not apply. Stop. The UP Amendment Act therefore is applicable in the present case despite the fact that no consequential relief has been claimed. Stop. Consequently, in terms of Section 7 of the UP Amendment Act, the court fees have to be computed according to the value of the subject matter and the trial, as well as the High Court have correctly held. So. Stop. We are of the view that the decision of this court in Rajiv Singh v. Lalit Kumar Singh within bracket 2010 12 SCC 112 is not applicable to the facts of the present case. Stop. First of all, this court had no occasion to examine the scope of the UP Amendment Act. Stop. That was a case in which this court was dealing with Section 7 and Schedule 2, Article 17 as amended in the state of Punjab. Stop. The position that we get in the state of Punjab is entirely different from the state of UP, and the effect of the UP Amendment Act was not an issue which arose for consideration in that case. Stop. Consequently, in our view, the said judgment would not apply to the present case. Stop. The plaintiff in the instant case valued the suit at rupees 30 lakhs for the purpose of pecuniary jurisdiction.